The Roman Empire ruled with an iron fist for nearly 500 years. The authority, however, was challenged inside and outside the empire. In addition, more than 20 emperors lost power because of sickness and assassinations. People were looking for stability in their lives. The Roman ideology believed in violence, victory, and peace. However, people were exploring other options of religious beliefs. Christianity, one of the many religions at the time, offered forgiveness, justice, peace, and continued life after death for everyone, not just the powers that be. After encountering the ideals of Christianity, the common Roman says, "Hope in a world is where chaos was the norm." That shift in thinking is what led Christianity to grow into a world religion.
In Rome, the emperors were the passageway to the gods. At that time, Roman ideology was the main religion. Jesus' disciples were spreading the news on Christianity, and it eventually spread to Rome.
But really, by the end of the first century, there are some Christians really in every part of the Roman Empire.
When people heard what the disciples were spreading about the religion, they were interested to learn more about it. Now, powerful Romans weren't so sure on the idea of the new religion, so people practiced it in private.
What was horrible for were those that didn't pay their taxes or didn't worship the emperor. Well, guess what? The Christians wouldn't worship the emperor.
If a powerful Roman found out about people secretly practicing the Christian religion, they were prosecuted. Those prosecutions led to more followers of Jesus.
Some of the people who were standing and watching, often one, maybe more, they would walk up and they would say, "I want to be a Christian too."
Every time someone was martyred, more people would become Christians because they were intrigued by the idea of someone dying for what they believed in.
It was dangerous to be a Christian in the 1st and 2nd century because of persecutions.
By the 2nd century, however, the persecutions got much worse because the attitude of the Roman government had changed in regards to Christians. In the 2nd century, by that time, everyone realized Christians have really started a new religion.
In a different religion named Roman ideology, violence was okay. The violence led to victory, which then led to peace. An example of that would have been Rome going to war to get peace. The Usborne internet-linked Encyclopedia of the Roman World states, "For 150 years, the mighty Roman Empire seemed unbeatable. But by the mid-2nd century, it was showing signs of strain."
The Roman emperors were faced with a crisis in the empire.
The Emperor Marcus Aurelius spent most of his reign fighting off invaders and caused widespread resentment to pay for the army. For the first time, people began to doubt the power of Rome. In the process, many people died because people believed in the Roman religion. Because of this, people started to discover new religions.
Even though emperors were at the top of the social hierarchy, many were murdered. The book Roman World states that, in 50 years between AD 235 and AD 284, there was a series of over 20 emperors, most of whom were murdered. For example, Caligula was murdered by Praetorian Guard in 41, and Vitellius was murdered in 69. Being an emperor was like wanting to be a king or queen. Many people wanted that position, so they would do anything to be the emperor.
A Roman emperor named Constantine became ruler in AD 313, and he was the first Roman emperor that was a Christian.
Again, by the time that Constantine gave freedom of religion to the church in the year 313, by that time, our best estimate is 10% of all the people in all of the Roman Empire said that they were Christians.
He let people freely practice Christianity without being prosecuted. After that, Christianity took off like a wildfire in Rome.
Christianity spread very quickly.
From 3,000 people in one little corner up to 10% of all the people in all of the Roman Empire. What that means is about every 10 years, if our estimates are correct, and we think they are, about every 10 years the number of Christians in the Roman Empire increased by 40%.
The book Roman World stated, about 25 years after Constantine's death, the Emperor Julian tried to bring back the state gods, but it was too late to stop the spread of Christianity.
There was another emperor who came about 50 years later, and he said, no, we're going to go back. We're going to go back to the Roman gods. He was called Julian the Apostate. But it wasn't very easy to do, and he wrote a lot of letters about why it wasn't working. One famous letter he wrote was, he said, these Christians, everyone knows that not only do they share what they have with their own poor people in their Christian churches, they share what they have even with people who still worship our gods. They share with everyone. Christians were known for their compassion, even for their enemies, even forgiving their enemies. And that was another reason that people commonly gave to become a Christian, even when they realized, I could be persecuted for this, but I want that.
Christianity had taken off so fast and was so big that his attempt failed. In AD 392, Christianity became the main religion in Rome.
When people were Christians in the ancient world, it was important that people would exchange the word about Christ to others. According to John McCanners from the Oxford University, he states that Paul served as a critically important messenger of the teachings of Jesus.
One of the first great missionaries, evangelists of the church was Paul. He eventually made it to Rome.
Paul encountered the whole Eastern Mediterranean, teaching others about God for 30 years. From 50 to 60 CE, he was spreading the teachings in Ephesus, Turkey. A lot of poor people back in the ancient times didn't think they mattered because nobody cared about them and because they were poor. But having Paul help Jesus' word expand throughout the Eastern Mediterranean, it became a religion that many people wanted to be a part of.
Christianity held great appeal.
Jesus was among the people. He even washed his disciples' feet, which only the lowest servants do. John 13:12-17 also states, Do you understand what I have done for you? He asked them. You call me teacher and Lord, and rightly so, for that is what I am. Now that I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also should wash one another's feet. I have set you an example that you should do as I have done for you. Very truly I tell you, no servant is greater than his master, nor is a messenger greater than the one who sent him. Now that you know these things, you will be blessed if you do them. This is very important because Jesus is saying that each and every person should be treated equally. The Roman belief is nothing like that. The Roman religion treated people depending on where they stood on the social hierarchy.
Since the spread of Christianity, many people converted over to the new religion because it offered more hope than Roman ideology. The violence that was happening everywhere made people look for other religions, which is why people joined Christianity. Christianity is so important to Christians because it gives hope and a continuous life after death to them.